Assalamu alaikum and good day everyone. I'm Arisha and we are from Group 1 presenting about the few question and answers related to the case Google and the right to be forgotten. So let's go on with it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nafina binti Idris Saidi. My metric number 280013. So we are from group 1. We will presenting about the case study Google and the right to be forgotten. For question number 1, I think the right to be forgotten is very necessary for an individual if the information can affect someone's reputation and the future. It is because the individual who involved can take action if the information was wrong or legally. But there have 4 criteria that Google will take a look. The criteria number 1 is the role of individual involved in the news. So, the individual who have a big influence on the public life, for example, politician, artist, and CEO. It is because news or information about them should be published for public knowledge. So, this will against delisting. The number 2, the types of news involved. For example, personal data or general information. If personal data like account number or identification card number, Google can delisting. But if the general information like about the politics and governance, Google will against delisting. It is because a new knowledge for the public. The criteria number 3 is the time effect. The information of news that was too old cannot be delisting because it's difficult to remove, and also the relevance of information might be fade away. The news will be less accessed, so the Google will not be considered to delete. The last one is the sources of information. Google will take a look at the sources of the information involved. If the sources were from valid sources, it will again delisting. For example, writing of journalists and government publication. Other than that, they will consider if the sources were illegal. That's all from me. Thank you.
A very good day to Doctor. My name is Bhavnishri Dr. Raghunathan, metric number 277978, and from Group 1 as well. So I'm going to answer the question 2 based on the case study. So the question 2 is, how does public policy with respect to individual privacy differ in the US and Europe, and what explains these differences? So basically, public policy is actually a set of laws, guidelines, and actions that decided and taken by the governments in order to work in favor of the public. So, public policy actually plays a crucial role in forming the guidelines and principle of a society. So, actually, they're a necessary part of governing and politics. So, under that, we have four four aspects. So, the first aspect would be legal frameworks. In US, under legal frameworks, they employ a sectoral approach in which various laws govern sectors or categories of data. They are regulations tailored to industries such as the GLBA and the HIPAA for the healthcare industry. US does not have a comprehensive federal privacy law in contrast to Europe. The privacy laws actually differ from state to state and are frequently specific to the industry. Next, in the case of Europe, with the General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR), which went into the effect in 2018, the European Union adopted a more all-encompassing and cohesive approach to their privacy. All EU member states are subject to this GDPR, which controls how a personal data is processed and gives people more control over to their personal data. From the perspective of cultural attitude, in US they are more to market focused, which the individual accountability for privacy protection and market driven solution are highly valued. And the second one is pragmatic approach. Under the pragmatic approach, the US frequently places a high priority on commercial interest and innovation than on stringent privacy laws. In contrast, in Europe, they are more focusing on privacy as a fundamental right. In Europe, safeguarding personal information is seen as a fundamental value and frequently considered a fundamental right. And the second point is greater skepticism towards corporate power. Europeans are frequently more in favor of legislative measures that restrict data collecting and may hold a more skeptic attitude towards corporate power. Next, from the perspective of institutional structures, in US, under the federalism concept, a patchwork of privacy rules results from the separation of regulatory powers between the federal and state governments. And second one, they have the industry self-regulations, which means American businesses have traditionally developed their own privacy policies and depended on industry self-regulation only. But in contrast, In Europe, EU harmonization to create a more uniform regulatory framework where the EU aims to harmonize privacy rules among its member states. And they also have centralized rule where all EU member states must abide with the GDPR, which is a centralized rule. Last but not least, from the perspective of individual rights, in the context of US, consumer protection is prioritized over giving individuals complete control over their data when it comes to privacy rights in the US, where privacy rights are frequently addressed through a patchwork of legislation. But in contrast, in Europe, they give people more control over their personal data, where the GDPR gives them several rights, such as right to information, the right to access, the right to correction, the right to erase, which is right to be forgotten, and the right to data portability. In summary, legal frameworks, cultural values, historical influences, institutional structures, enforcement, government surveillance, and intelligence program individual rights play a role in dispatchery in public policy regarding individual privacy between the US and Europe. Europe places a greater emphasis on comprehensive regulation and sees privacy as a basic right that needs stronger protection, whereas in US, prioritizing a sectoral and market-driven approach. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum and good day everyone. My name is Arisha, metric 276790, and I will be discussing about question number 3, which is in what ways has technology made it more difficult for individuals to protect their privacy? The technology revolution has brought both pros and cons, and it has made it more difficult for individuals to protect their privacy. I have outlined 5 main points for this. Number 1 is rise in data collection. Data can now be processed and stored for a long time with the help of technology. Everyone has now access to internet and knows how to use Google search. Easy access for the public makes it difficult to protect your privacy because people can search for almost anything and the information will be readily available. The public has easy access to almost anything, including your personal information, making it difficult for you to protect your privacy. Internet users have no control over what private personal information is posted on the internet. Personal demographics, browsing habits, and locations are all included in this type of data. Number 2, increase in surveillance. In recent years, technology has enabled governments to monitor individuals and with cameras, facial recognition system, and other tracking device. An individual's mugshot and arrest details can be found through a quick Google search if they have been arrested before. As a result of technology, individuals have less control over the information that is published about them online, making it more difficult to protect their privacy. Number 3, invasion through social media. Nowadays, everything is accessible to public. I think the moment we start posting on social media, we will expose ourselves. Our identity and our work are well known to everyone. In today's world, protecting our privacy can be quite difficult, even if we are keen in hiding ourselves. People can know almost every aspect of your life, such as when you bought your house, your previous addresses, your Facebook profile, etc. Number 4, cybersecurity is at risk. The development of encryption technology has made protection of personal information easier for individuals. Increasing technology advancements has also led in the rise of cyber attacks, which puts personal privacy at risk. Data privacy is at risk due to technology, which has reduced the amount of control we have over our own personal information. Most of the time, you are unaware of the kinds of information that are available until you conduct your own search. In addition to that, almost everything is done online now, including shopping, paying bills, even the storing personal information on website. And number 5, analyzing the big data. To make predictions and decisions about individuals, organizations use data and an organization use technology to analyze and use this data. Due to the development of technology, we can now access information about individuals on the internet. There are commercial search engines that provide information. Internet users are now exposed to irrelevant personal information, leading to their defamation. There are people who are unable to obtain employment and loans because of the availability of irrelevant personal information online. There are many search engines that make personal information available to the public. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Sofina Sanim binti Abdul Halim, metric number 280543. So I'm going to continue with question number 4, which is, do you think Google should be responsible for modifying its search result in response to individual requests? If so, what criteria should it use in doing so? Are there limits to the resources that the company should be expect to expend to comply with such requests? So, in my opinion, Google should take responsibility for adapting its search result based on individual requests, aiming to deliver high quality outcomes that accurately reflects users' information needs. Ensuring users receive the information they seek is a crucial commitment that Google should uphold in providing a reliable search experience. There are four criteria that Google should use in modifying search results in response to individual requests. So for the first one is users preference. Taking into account a user's past search history, locations, language preference and other personalized setting can help the tailor result to individual needs. This enhances the user's experience by providing more relevant information based on their preference. Second, relevance. Ensuring that search results align with the user's query and intent is essential. Google should use prioritize displaying content that is directly related to the user's search terms, including the likelihood of useful information. Third, accuracy. Emphasizing accurate and reliable information help to prevent the spread of misinformation. Google should prioritize results from reputable sources and employ algorithms to identify and minimize the impact of false or misleading content. And lastly, legal compliance. Adhering to the local and international laws is crucial. Google should modify search results in a way that complies with legal requirements, including issues related to privacy, copyright, and other regulatory considerations. There are practical limits to the resources Google should be expected to expend to comply with the individual requests for modifying search results. These limits are influenced by factors such as the first one is feasibility. The technical feasibility of implementing extensive customizations features and the impact on other overall research infrastructure should be considered. Striking a balance between users' customizations and system efficiency is crucial. Next is scalability. As the number of users and requests increase, the resources is required for customizations grow exponentially. Google must weigh the scalability of any modifications to ensure that they can meet the demands of a large and diverse user base. The third one is resource allocation. Google has various products and services beyond its search engine. Allocating resources to other important areas such as security, innovations, and infrastructure maintenance is essential for overall business health. And lastly, maintaining objectivity. Excessive customization might compromise the objectivity of search results, leading to information bubbles and reducing the diversity of perspective. Google must balance customizations with the goal of providing unbiased and varied information. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Greetings to doctor and everyone. I'm Rakesh Omantaram, metric number 280744. Today, I would like to present and explain to all of y'all about question number 5 from the Google case study that we received earlier. Well, question number 5 sounds like, if you were a Google executive, how would you balance the privacy rights of the individual with the public's interest to know and the right to distribute information? Well, that's a very interesting question, by the way. Now, let's look very specific in terms of the question itself. So, if I was a Google executive, I would balance the privacy rights of the individual with the public's interest to know and the right to distribute information by the first step is by ensuring transparency and education exposure, where I would increase the transparency about how Google collects, processes, and uses personal data, and educate users about privacy settings and options available. Most importantly, I would clearly state and communicate with the implication of the right to be forgotten and how it aligns with Google's mission to them. Next, the second step is where I would be implementing the enhanced privacy control, where I would provide users with more granular control over their personal information and allow them to easily manage information which is collected and stored. Most importantly, I would implement robust privacy settings that allow users to customize the visibility of their data and control who can access it. The third step would be where I would be implementing stricter data retention policies. Well, implementing more stringent data retention policy to automatically delete or anonymize user data after a certain period unless explicitly specified by the user themselves. I would definitely regularly review and update these policies to align with the evolving privacy regulations, especially nowadays. And the fourth step would be where I would be ensuring global compliances. That means Google would work closely with regulatory bodies worldwide for compliance with regional privacy laws, where I would develop global framework to respect diverse culture and legal perspective on privacy, where I would be also establishing dedicated teams to monitor and adapt change in privacy regulations in different jurisdictions. And the last step, the fifth step, would be where I would be accepting and valuing public input with their feedbacks. Most importantly, I would be encouraging public discourse on privacy related issues to seek input from the users themselves, privacy advocates, and even experts to improve policies and practices. I would actively involve in stakeholders, especially I would involve them in the decision making process to ensure a more inclusive and democratic approach to address privacy concerns. That's all from us. Thank you.